Welcome back to the channel. We have to apologise for something, but before we do, we want to explain a few things first. Basically, we've had a proper nightmare of a week. Unfortunately, the last thing that we wanted to do is come on here and say any more disasters that are happening, but unfortunately that's what's happening. Before we get into it, the whole story is basically last week we were in Milton Keynes and we had a really good time in Milton Keynes at the Radfords. We got new sign writing on the van. It was so cool. If you haven't seen that video, please go and watch it. We were having such a good time. The sign writing was done. Things are being ticked off the list for the new van. And we actually stayed in Milton Keynes for a bit longer, didn't we? And we actually really enjoyed it. A lot more than we expected to. But the whole thing was that we wanted to start a new adventure, a proper adventure, not just go somewhere for a couple of days and then leave and all that. But the whole thing was that even though we was enjoying Milton Keynes, ultimately what we wanted to do was go on a big trip. We're full-time van lifers, and since we've had this van, we've not been able to do any of the big trips that we wanted to do. Because in Frida, we went all over the shop. We did a whole big, couple of months in Devon and Cornwall. I think it was a couple of months. South Wales, the NT500, the North East. We did so much stuff, but we actually went somewhere and then just covered a couple of miles each day, stayed for a couple of days in each place, but really just didn't move around as much, just really soaked up the place, got into the routine of full-time van life, the stuff that we really enjoy doing. So that was next on the list of things to do. We decided we had one more appointment to do before we could do the big trip, which was in Nottingham. So we left from Milton Keynes to go to Nottingham, and then somewhere in between, in sort of Buckinghamshire, I think it was, a warning light came up on our dashboard. And it was a warning light I've never seen before. You've never seen it before, have you, to that point? And Janine did a bit of Googling straight away because I was driving, and the dash light was the DPF filter, which is a diesel particulate filter. Something that I don't know too much about. Janine's further Googles said to keep driving, and so we did. The DPF light then went into DPF clean, so the dash said it's going to clean the DPF filter. The thing with DPF filters can be a disaster, a minefield. The worst case scenario is you need a brand new DPF filter, and it costs anywhere between £1,000 and £3,500. So, we're talking disaster territory. No one wants to hear that sort of thing. Anything before that is just getting it cleaned. Your vehicle, modern vehicles clean it themselves. Our one cleans it itself as part of an automatic regen program, and that's what it was doing. Because the warning light wasn't leaving and we didn't really know too much about it, we made sure that we were travelling on the way to Nottingham, which was pretty much on the way anyway, that we were close to places that we knew, and which was a really good thing, because when we was on the M40, we went into limp mode and engine lights came on, engine failure, all that sort of stuff, check your engine. So limp mode slowed us right down, something that takes over the whole engine, and we was crawling along the motorway at 30 miles an hour. We were so fortunate to be in a location that we knew. We came off the motorway, plonked it at my mum's house. It was too late in the day to get a garage out. I called up roadside assistance. They wanted nothing to do with us because we were too tall, even though that they knew the dimensions. I put them in when we signed up to them. Either way, that to one side. We had to wait until the next day, and then we literally crawled it to the nearest garage that we could. From there, we sort of hoped that everything might be better the next day because it's a computer, turn it off, turn it on, but it wasn't. Took it to a garage. Long story short, they had it for a whole day, and they said it was an injector that needed replacing because it was blocked. We actually saw the injector, it was blocked. They bought a new one, fitted it, and the limp mode was gone, the warning lights were gone. We drove it away at the end of that day. We got 2 or 3 miles, didn't we? I think it was, before the warning lights came back on the dashboard. We had to pull over, and then that was it, because we was in limp mode again. You can't really drive anywhere in limp mode. You're supposed to stop because that's what limp mode does. As far as I know anyway. So we waited until the next morning, called up the garage, took it back into the garage, and it's been there ever since. We are now 4 days of it being at the garage. Is it 4 days so far?
Something like that, yeah.
4 days at the garage it's been there. And I spoke to them today, and he said it's going to take at least another 7 to 10 days at the garage. So by the time all said and done, that's 2 weeks in the garage our van has had. This obviously puts us in a bit of predicament because we are without transport, and it's obviously our home as well. and quite a lot of our stuff is still in our home, like clothes and what have you. But we're pragmatic people. So as I said, the last thing we wanted to do was make a video going through all of our disasters and, you know, make a disaster video. And, you know, we're not going to do that now. It's spring. It's all about looking forwards and what have you. So we are going to get our heads together. But we wanted to come on here and rather than not putting anything out, just apologise to you, because it's been like, I think it's been probably 13 months, so over a year since this is the first time in over a year that we've not put anything out, a proper video out, or Janine not put anything out. And yeah, it feels strange. And we just want to apologise to you, because I know we have some regular viewers of the channel. It's very disappointing for us as well as for you, as I'm sure it is as well. But we just wanted to say, please hang in there for us. Please wish us luck. There's obviously worse things happening in the world. We know that. That's why we're going to remain optimistic and do something with our few days off that we've got. We're hoping that next time you see us, next Sunday, you're going to see us on the road on our big adventure. And if you've got any suggestions of where you think we should go, then we're always open to it, especially if you're van lifers or you're motorhomers or campers or UK holiday makers. Let us know, because we really want to go somewhere for a good few weeks. Sorry once again. We'll see you next week. Whatever happens, we'll update you next week. Thank you for subscribing, and in the description of this video we'll leave our favourite videos that we've done over the last year. Please go and watch them. It'll help the channel out loads in this week of us not putting any content out. And wish us luck, and we'll hopefully next Sunday you'll see us at least part way into a journey of a huge trip, which is what we really want to do. And if you can suggest anywhere that you think we should go to at this beautiful time of year, then that's also very well received in comments. Thank you, and see you next time.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight.